How should I start my podcast? What's up, vegan savages? Let's start classic and grounded. We're out here in Kopangan, me, Brittnee Bond, Afro Bear, and Ferdi Beck, reporting live from the collective. A lot has happened. Our last podcast was in Austria together.
Wow, that was a really long time ago.
But I love it because it actually wasn't. It was like 3 weeks or like a month maybe. But in our reality, and being savages, you can probably relate, it's like in one day so much happens. Like if you're really in the here and now. So as a little home fun, listen to Brittnee's podcast. She caught you up to speed yesterday a little bit or a lot.
And I love it that you haven't listened to it yet, so you don't know what I said.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, so I won't go into that because I don't know what you said. But I trust you and you trust me. So if you're mighty of the German language, also listen to my latest podcast to be really caught up to speed. And now we're here, ready to take a deep breath. Inhale deeply. And I just want to vibe. I just want to vibe with my queen and give you some of that frequency because it's so nice when we're just like hanging out. No need to wake anyone up. Just like feel you into our life. How are you feeling in your body, baby?
I feel a little tired. We came over from the other side just now of the island, and it's like hiking down, taking a boat, taking the car to get here. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Wainom. It's my favorite beach in the whole world. And also, it's like a place to go be in solitude. But, like, this is our life, you know. And it's funny because we're still on the same island, but it feels like a completely different life.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the same island.
No, not at all.
For me, it feels too trapped there. Like,
because you have to take a boat to get there.
Yeah, like... For me, it's so nice to have an exit plan that I always know, like I can take my scooter and I can leave anytime. I don't like this feeling of like feeling trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love my freedom. Like we all love our freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Sritanu, like often we go somewhere to appreciate what we have here. And this trip was amazing. I mean, I've just been for a day. It was like a big adventure. And also this whole Europe trip made us so appreciate what we have here. Baby, I love our life so much.
Yeah, it's so funny because I've been here before we went to Europe for 3.5 years, and I just thought, you know, the island's amazing, but maybe there's something out in Europe that's better. And then I was like, nope. For me personally, the island is where it's at.
Same. And it's so nice to go and see how much you have changed and then to appreciate it so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything is just so that we can choose what we prefer. And it was really nice to go and meet a bunch of people, do a bunch of events, make impact out there, travel, see all my friends. But to live, like, this is where I feel my nervous system feels the best.
Yeah, and in our relationship, this whole Europe trip made us grow so much because it brought so many things to the surface. And it also showed how, like, we got each other. Like, many people fall here in love. They get off the island and see, like, oh,
yeah, that's totally a thing. Like, a lot of people are in the island bubble together and then they leave and they're like, I actually don't like you that much. Or, you know, I don't know, quote unquote reality hits. But for us, reality is already always there. We can't run away from it.
Yeah, and there were so many nice, like I loved our Europe trip. It's just like, this is home, but now knowing, we can always make the nicest flow stay retreats in Austria. Like, this was so amazing. And also how grounded I felt like in Austria and Germany. It's like if for some reason it would get too uncrowning here, I can always go back and like really ground. Mm-hmm. And endless other things. Like we really tried all the things. We hosted play parties. You made your women's circle. We went to the Castle Festival. You went to Portugal. I went to Stubai. You went to Amsterdam. We did meetups. We did many things.
Mm-hmm. And now we're home.
Now we're home, baby, and I love it so much. And like the last weeks, we cruised so much. Because like, yeah.
We keep saying it feels like a sober ayahuasca experience, but it just keeps going.
Yeah, it's like, what is reality? whatever you make out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we choose to keep creating the most epic timeline. And it was really tough the last week for me to waking up to my attachment to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then my physical mind was like, no, I got so comfortable being in this twin flame love and this serves me so well. And then, but I could also feel it that if I'm like attached, or if you are attached, then the love is not as sparky, as spicy, as abundant, as powerful. Like we're on this crow's fast lane, and like it's this beautiful and challenging paradox of the universe. Like you gotta be non-attached, you like gotta let it go, so you can like have it, but without the insistence. Then I have it, but like really to be good in yourself. And I'm so proud of us. And
Yeah, I want to add to the end of, I'm going to add to the end of my podcast. So if you listen to it, there'll be like a little something at the end where I catch everyone up on like what's going on in our relationship and my own growth in it and like how it is from my perspective. And then at the end, I want to say that the most beautiful thing is I don't know what happens next. Like I've gone through very similar patterns with other past partners where we went through a growth spiral together, up and up, and then it hit a point where I really showed them who I was fully and like in my full power. And also part of that was, you know, me being an independent individual that chooses them, but also, you know, is open to other connections, like on like a real level. And they couldn't handle me in my full power. They couldn't handle me wanting to be with other people, like in the reality of it. And then it would end, you know. And with you and I, it's gotten to this point of growth, and we moved through it like really gracefully. And I'm so grateful for that because I haven't gotten this far in the game of the relationship with someone, and I'm so excited that we're on the same level, we're on the same team, we're on the same page, and we don't know what happens next. So now, like in the past, there was a lot of stuff where you were like, did you know this was going to happen? Did you know? And I said, yeah. I just didn't tell you because I didn't know if you could handle it. No, the knowing of it and the going through it.
Do you have an example? Oh yeah, many come actually to my mind.
So many.
Like the play party scenarios, for example.
Yeah, like me being with someone else, and also me being fully myself. And like, are you able to hold space for that? You know, because I hold space for you in your full power all the time. But it's very new for the masculine to hold the feminine in her full power. I think it's not that men dislike it or don't want it. It's that they literally have never experienced it in their timeline. And for maybe many centuries. So there isn't a lot of like, you know, a lot of this stuff is cultural. A lot of it is in our DNA of like centuries of men running things and being in power, and women just kind of submitting to it and just like allowing themselves to be a little suppressed or a lot suppressed. And now it's like women are rising up and coming in their full power and taking up space. And I feel a lot of men, because they're not sure if, like for instance, a lot of men are they probably don't realize this consciously, but they're not able to hold a woman in their full power because they're like, well, why would she want me? Like she can do everything on her own. She can take care of herself. Like, why does she need me? What am I here for? And to be able to still hold like that self-love and that self-worth.
To witness her. It's like the best.
Yeah.
Maybe witnessing you is
and
the
also
best.
just support each other and be on the same team. Just like women are so collaborative and want to support their partners. Now it's time for men to do it, you know, both ways. And this is definitely a generalization, but I think this speaks to a lot of people in their relationships, because I have so many women asking me about these things. Like, hey, I also like want to date other people, and he's okay with him being with other women, but he's not okay with me being with other men.
Ew.
And
like, man, think about it. Like, what the fuck?
Or really look at themselves and ask themselves, why am I not okay with this? Why can't I hold this? But it's a lot of it comes down to their own self-worth, and like, do they actually love themselves enough to like stand in that and allow their partner to go away and then come back and still choose them. Like for a lot of men, it's still so uncomfortable that they freak out and then they try and blame it on their partner and say, I don't think you can handle it. Like saying to the woman, I think you're going to fall in love with someone. I don't think you can handle it. And I said this in my podcast yesterday. I was like, hello, women are so emotionally mature. Like we are really good at interpersonal dynamics and emotional reality and holding space. Of course we can handle this. It's men who usually freak out.
I mean, case by case, you know,
Of course.
not generalizing.
Of course.
But yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, but I've also like through hosting play parties and doing my podcast and just, you know, being a grounded feminine presence in the world, I get a lot of women reaching out to me, asking me, and I coach a lot of women about this, and they genuinely love their partners, and they're also wanting to take up space in their life and be fully in their power, and they don't really know how to do both because, like, you know, the masculine is like just kind of freaking out right now in a lot of ways of just like, where's my place in the world? And there's so many good men out there that want to support the feminine, they just don't know how. And I think a lot of people are looking at us like, what are they doing? Because it seems like it's working and they seem like they're vibing and having a great time. But like, what are they doing that we don't know yet, you know? And we're just figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, baby, this was wow. I have many questions to that. Like, why do you think your ex-boyfriends like couldn't hold you? Like you said, it always got to a point, but why couldn't they hold you further, like when they saw your full power?
I mean, this is just my personal opinion, but I feel like if you really look deep into it, I feel like they felt like they weren't enough. And also, yeah, I think they just literally didn't know how to play with me in that level.
So what would you say is, because you said men don't know what their role is in this new dynamic of like women stepping in their full power? What would you say is the like quote unquote role of like healthy masculinity? And like, is it cool if I adjust this angle?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, we're back, you know, full presence. Thank you for letting me do that. So could you maybe repeat it?
Yeah. I feel that healthy masculinity is knowing that, one, we need the masculine. It's not that women are more powerful. We need, like, the masculine energy in the world right now in general is just super through the roof. It's like super strong to the point where it's like becoming destructive, you know? And you can see this in the way that corporations are taking over and like making things like there's less connection to source energy. Like people are not collaborating. They're not like taking care of the earth or thinking what's long term, what's good for our future generations. It's just like mine, give it to me now, very individualistic. Whereas feminine energy, and we all have masculine and feminine energy in all of us. So this is not like men against women. This is like the imbalance in the masculine energy right now it's imbalanced in the world. And so what we need is like women to have a lot more space to rise up into their full power. Like literally ask them, what do you think? What do you think is the best thing to do here? Let's collaborate. Like feminine energy is very collaborative and wants to make the world a better place. It's not just about them. It's about all of us. Like if all of us are thriving, then we're good. Because as a collective, we are all one, you know, like everyone on the earth is one organism that is like pulsing together. And when we can collaborate together in that energy, then we're all going to be good. And I feel like if men can understand this, understand that there's an adjustment that is happening right now, then they can create more space for the feminine. And just, I think just activating within themselves that like, yeah, women are just as powerful as me. And I want to ask them what they think. Like when you and I first got together, this is one of the things that I asked you about. I was like, why do you talk so much without asking me what I think? You know, it was like constant monologues. And I feel that with a lot of men, it's because they are so used to maybe centuries of being in the teaching role. And like, I want to help you. And there's this thing in the masculine that wants to help and wants to serve and wants to make the world a better place through their actions and through helping. And the feminine is like, yeah, awesome. I'm super down for that. And also I have tons of strengths and superpowers. But they're like, I said in one of my podcasts, like, I'm not going to shout in order to be heard. Like the feminine doesn't want to be pushy like the because that is a masculine trait, like taking up space and being very direct. But the feminine is like very like, like we can just be nice and make things super juicy and feel good in our bodies and also get a lot of stuff done. Like you've seen me in my full power. I'm very active. I get a lot of things done in the 3D, but most of the stuff that you learned from me that we share together is the emotional reality, is the spiritual reality, is the, like taking care of everything and making sure that everything is working together. So I feel like if the masculine kind of understands this more, then they can create more space for the feminine.
Baby, I learned so much from you. And I cringed so hard on many versions of me, and not in a way where I disliked myself. Because I did it, like we all do everything out of love, and it feels like I'm here the symbol where I can teach others by like being the role model, by like sharing my journey. And you woke me up and got that out of me. I had a lot of toxic masculinity in me, like these stereotype things I just picked up from society. And I did it in a loving way, but it was like fucked up and I wasn't conscious about it. And you really taught me and woke me up to that. And now looking back, I like really cringe on many versions of me. And I'm like, but I got a bit angry at the world. Like, why did no one taught me? No one taught me.
And the feminine is here and they want to share this information. It's not, and again, the feminine energy doesn't share it in the way of I'm better than you, which is very interesting because masculine energy a lot of times does this. And I've been in my masculine energy sometimes where I'm like, yeah, I know more and like, listen to me and I'm going to get this into you. But the feminine energy is not like that. It's like, it wants to be asked. It wants to be invited in. And then it's like, yeah, actually, I noticed these things. And this is how we could have our relationship be better. This is how we could communicate better. This is how I can feel more loved. And if I feel more loved, then you're definitely going to feel more loved because I'm going to pour it back into you. And so it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship. And so if men are listening to this and they're like, I want to be a better man, I don't know how. It's like, the best thing you can do is ask the women in your life, what do they think? And encourage them to go after the things that they care about. You are such a beautiful support for me in the sense that like when I'm a little bit nervous about putting myself out there, you're like, do it. It's so amazing. The world needs to hear this. Like
here we are sitting and recording a podcast.
Yeah. And like, you inspired me to start my podcast and there's so much I have to say with the world. And in the past I was like, who wants to listen? There's two things. It was like one of like, well, who even wants to listen? Because if you look at a lot of world leaders, thought leaders, traditionally it's mostly men who are speaking, right?
Or women in their masculine.
Or women in their masculine, yeah. Just because they need that energy in order to feel safe to put themselves out there. But I was like, I don't want to put myself out there in my masculine. If you look at some of my earlier YouTube videos when I was doing like remote work consulting, I can't even watch them anymore because they're so me in my masculine. But that's what I needed to do in order to put myself out there. And with you, I feel so safe to be in my feminine and be able to share from that place. And I think that's what the masculine can really do is like create these safe spaces for the feminine to shine and to like share this beautiful information with the world. And if we had more of this, like the world would immediately become more balanced.
Yeah. Just listen to her, like really listen. Like really listen what she's saying. Baby, remember even our first podcast, my apartment in Berlin? Like, because I was so you had to go in your masculine to get a word in.
This is before we were even dating.
I think I put it on private. So
when my godparents watched that, they were like, we do not approve of him. Because I already told them I liked you back then. And we were just friends. And they were like, no. And I was like, but I believe in him. I think he can be a good man.
Yeah, no one taught me. And this is like, because this is how the world, like, we're still like a lot living in the old world. This is how it worked. I wanted to make the world a better place. So this is how I got myself out there, like being like that. Like,
yeah, I mean, you were saying that a lot of the men around you were respecting you because you would share sex stories with them. Like, you know, like it's very old programming of like, I'm the man and like, I get all the women and so yes, listen to me.
Yeah, like I did all the tricks, but in order to like make people wake up and follow their excitement and like, get the universal message, embody their authentic self. Like I use the things that like get their attention. If I'm just like here, peace and love, which I am, but then like, okay, if I talk about my play party experience and my sexual experiences, people are like really tuning in, and like it's still super
Because
nice.
it's interesting. I'm not making fun of that. It's just interesting because if you really look at it all the way through, it's men want sex, but what they actually want is connection, and what they actually want is love, and what
Yeah.
they actually want is to feel worthy of love.
Yeah. They like don't think it so far through. They're just like, I want that all the women admire me and suck my dick. And then like, yeah, but why do you want it? And exactly what you just said. And it feels like women are just like, just so much more in touch with their emotions and their intuition. And they just get so shut down that they like also grow up in this world and think like that's how it is.
Yeah, they just get frozen. Like when I was in Germany when I was in Berlin hosting the women's circle, the women there, I loved hosting them. And also because I knew that they needed it. They were so frozen in their emotions. Because women, like a lot of them would say, wow, this is one of the first times I actually felt safe to like share my emotions. Literally the first time in their life, like to share their emotions publicly.
Welcome to Germany.
Yeah.
It's like so many times I look back and, you know, like school and these internships, and it's like no one ever asks you like, how are you feeling? You know, like it was just like da 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 da. You
And
know?
how was it when I would do that with you from the beginning?
Baby, it felt so good. And then I wasn't like conscious that you were hosting me all the time. And then I woke up to you taught me like, hey, you're feeling so good because I'm actually hosting you. Here are the tools. And then like, oh wow. And then it took me a long time, like until recently, to host you. And now we host each other. And it's so nice to create space for each other and like really listen.
Yeah, and I think this is something that's really important for people to say is it is so healthy to get counseling while you're in the middle of the relationship, because so many people get couples counseling at the end when they already decided to break up and they just want like some closure, like if they're even conscious enough to realize they need that. But to have like a healthy check-in like throughout the relationship, or if you feel like, hey, I want to move through something together and I need a little outside help, it's so nice to reach out. And for us, I already said to the universe, I was like, I want to get a couples counselor for like a month when we get back to the island. And then the universe sent us
An alien,
An
a
alien.
precursor, Eugene. This was like
we basically like lived with our therapist for 3 days.
yeah, and like
Full on.
an alien. This was like
Yeah.
a sober ayahuasca experience, like even stronger.
And it was beautiful, and we were able to work through stuff.
Yeah, this was so wow. Yeah, it's like always let all synchronicity and abundance of help flow in, you know, like don't think it's a weakness to get help. Like get help from everyone, and you can learn something from everyone, and it's so fresh to get other humans like
Perspective.
yeah.
And always just remember that your truth is the one that matters at the end. So like, for instance, with you, John, like we took a lot of the information in and it helped us move through. And then there was some stuff he shared that we were like, you know.
Yeah, because he never saw us in our like juicy laugh, and thus he doesn't know that part, and then he could only reflect what he saw, you know.
Yeah, and at that moment in time, we were going through a rough time.
Yeah, this was.
So at the end of the day, we took what we needed, and then we left the rest. Is what I learned doing therapy for many years, was take what you need and leave the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, this time was really. This was, I think, this was the toughest time of my life.
So many people are wondering, are we going to break up? You were wondering this for a while.
Yeah, because you were pulling away and I could feel it, and then I was like freaking out because I wanted like some clarity, and then like I didn't get it that it's like like Ferdi, like it's your attachments and like
Yeah, and also I knew that our relationship needed to shift. Like I no longer was going to hold completely the emotional reality in the relationship where I was hosting you 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that you are mature enough to get the downloads, integrate, and be able to come back and like play in the game with me fully.
Baby, I'm here. I never want to make you energetically tired anymore. I want to support you. I want that we like like be good in ourselves and flow in this free abundance. And because we love each other so much, we will always come back to each other. Like we know we always come back to each other because we know deep down, like it's so clear what we have. And we know it's like the most epic timeline if we stay good in ourselves and in our full power and follow our flow and intuition and synchronicity. And we go out to like create more for us, you know, like the more we abundance synchronicity we get from all places, the more it flows back into us and the more we can teach each other. Like we really pick this fast line of growth. And if we now just, okay, I learned so much from you and now we stay twin flames and just each other and like settle, yeah, nice. But quickly, it's always when I like try to settle, I feel quickly stupid. Like I'm like, Ferdi, what are you doing here? Like I do this now for the rest of my life. Like no, like I want to grow, expand, and I'm here for all of it. And like we both so see the bigger picture and we're like why we're here, and we all want to stay in our full power.
Yeah, it's funny because on the day-to-day life, everything is actually the same in the physical reality, but the energy feels different. It feels like no one's pushing or pulling. It's just like we are two individual people and are fully in our power who are choosing to create a life together and co-create it.
And I like really understand all the things now. Like many things I was like, Ferdi, how did you not hear it? She told you a million times. And now I
like what?
Yeah, like creating space, hosting you, asking clarifying questions, not being like, needing reassurance, like what am I actually saying? Like I say something, but it's a frequency of I want just like know that we're good.
Yeah, you were saying I love you, but you were actually asking, are we okay?
Yeah, all these things. And also like me, I don't want to say using you, like when you came in my life, this was the first time someone could hold me, and I love telling you all my downloads because you could add something to it, you know? Like many people couldn't like quite put them, and then I just kept them for myself a lot, you know? And with you, like you added so many things, but then I was like often saying the same things, just using different words, and I'm like, Ferdi, like we already went here. I'm like, I loved it how
it would get to a point sometimes where I would just zone out and start thinking of something else because you would just go into a monologue.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, I don't know why you keep saying this over and over. And then you'd be like, well, you're not listening to me. And I'm like, because I've already heard this and you're not asking. This is not a conversation.
Baby, I know. It's like I wanted to like really stretch out this excitement of being awake, but then no, I want to move forward. Because like I was so used to hanging out with people where like I cannot go like further, quote unquote, with them because I need to catch them up. But with you, like we keep going, and I see like since we're like so doing that, like Eugene, he came into our life, and it's not like he's like pushing us even further, you know. And I'm like, Ferdi, we've been here, we've done that, we can talk about the next thing and the next thing. So thank you, baby, for all the. And you know, I was also trying to quote unquote be on the same level. Like I always knew you. Like you teach me more things than of course I teach you things, I show you things, but like overall you teach me more things, and by also you teaching me, you get so much out of, because this is how you learn the most. And sometimes I was like, sometimes I even thought, oh, I need to get more downloads to like stimulate you to because I because like this what you said earlier, like what is my role then, why does she need me? But now I'm like, yeah, because like what are women good for if no one witnessed them? Like it's so boring if you're just like being in your power and there are no men around who like.
Yeah, and the best thing you can do is to ask me how I'm feeling and let me just share what's going on with me. You know, like last night we hung out and you were asking me about, you know, my love stories with some of our people that are now our really good friends and stuff. And I was sharing the timeline of like how it was. And it was so nice to share because I love these people and I'm so grateful for my connection with them. And you're now going to be connected to them. And it's just beautiful to share. Like that's something that women love. We love sharing our emotions. We love sharing the things that we care about, you know, and to have someone who cares and wants to listen and reflect back. It's so beautiful, you know, and I have a lot of emotions. So
And maybe it's so beautiful to listen and to witness you. Like I'm so crushing on your timeline, on your lockdown time here, and now by hearing more and more stories, it's like
it really is a movie. Someone's gonna make a
yeah.
movie about it one day.
And like it's like the nicest stories, and I laugh because I can also feel how you feel, and it feels like women have just a wider spectrum of emotions. Like I don't know if that is true, or they're more in dialed in with their emotions.
Well, I feel that
We can access them faster.
we can access them faster, but also in the world today, like the masculine is not encouraged to develop their emotional reality. It's like all they have is happy and anger. And from when they were little, it's like if a guy's crying, oh, you're being a pussy or something. Whereas like men have emotions just like women, but they're not held in that, you know, they're not created space. And so with you, I think I was one of the first people that was like, you would be like upset about something and you're like, oh yeah, it's fine. I'll just get over it. Because this is what you're programmed to do. And then I'd be like, no, let's talk about it. What's going on? And then and then you can like let the energy through and like really let it go through your body, and then you feel so much better.
Yeah, because if I say I'm fine, but I'm not fine, that's the thing. Like before, it's like people like, oh yeah, I'm fine. No, you're actually not fine. Like I can feel you. Energies don't lie. So actually create space, co-regulate with people. Like at the Flow State retreat, people were like not so nice, like not at the retreat, but like texting wise, were like not so nice to me. And then I asked you, like, do you have space? And then I told you about it, and like I grieved it a little bit.
You're saying something that's going to be confusing for people.
Okay.
In the middle of the Flow State retreat, some drama came up with some of your friends that weren't at the retreat.
Exactly. Like,
and you came to me, and I was like, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm fine, but it like occupies me, and it's so nice to let it.
And the thing, co-regulation, if people don't know what that means, it just means that you hold each other so that the other person can regulate their own nervous system. So like I'm holding space for you to talk about your emotions. And co-regulation does not mean that I fix your emotions or solve whatever it is that's going through. It's just that means I hold the space, a safe space to witness and honor you. And then everyone is capable of regulating their own nervous system, but sometimes they just need to have someone who loves and cares for them nearby so they feel safe to open it up and let it go through. You know, and that's so beautiful. And we all can do this for each other, men, women, aliens, whatever, you know?
And you can even ask, like, do you seek comfort or solution? And often we want comfort first so we can feel it, and we have our own journey and get to the solution ourselves by them creating space and asking questions. And then we maybe want solution and like, yeah, what do you think about it? Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, because a lot of it is, everything goes down to connection and disconnection. And it's like, do we feel connected to ourselves, to our source connection, to our friends, our family? And then if we don't feel that connection, if like something happens, some drama, then we want to co-regulate with someone who cares about us. So they are like, yes, I'm connected to you. Okay, now you can look at this disconnection in a safe way so that it doesn't become trauma and get stuck energy in your body. So it's so beautiful to host each other. And I do this with my friends all the time, constantly. Like my girlfriends and I, we have each other on speed dial, like, and we'll just message each other, hey, I need some co-regulation right now. Do you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes? And the other person's like, yes, I do. Or like one of my friends, you and I were going through something, all that stuff with Eugene last week. And one of my friends messaged me a couple times. She kept calling me, and I said to her, I'm in the middle of a crisis right now, but I will call you in 1 hour and I will host you. And she said, okay. And I called her and I hosted her, and it was really good for her. And that's what she needed. And she was like, I want to host you too. And I said, it is too big right now and I'm in the middle of it. I will call you later, you know? But we were able to do that for each other, and it was really beautiful.
What is speed dial?
Oh, that's just a term we use in America where like when you had the old phones and you could like program where like you push the number 1 and then it like called your best friend.
So do you actually have that?
No, it's just it's like an expression we use.
And I say that now like that, like, oh yeah, ask her for if you want comfort or solution. And baby, that's what I cringe on, because most of our relationship, I straight went into Bashar mode and gave you the solution. Like, here it is. And you were like, let me have my process.
You were doing it all in your head. It was all intellectual.
I know.
And I needed to be in my body.
Yes.
I wanted to be in my body. We are humans having a physical experience so that we can connect the body, mind, and spirit. It's a triad. And so when we're allowed to connect all of those things fluidly, the energy can go through us, and it's so beautiful. If we're only stuck in one of them, like if I'm only stuck in my body, it's not good. If you're only stuck in your mind, it's not good. If you're only stuck in spirit, you're not having a physical experience. But if you're able to go through all of them fluidly, then you're able to move the energy through.
Baby, I'm so happy that we're humans and that we're physical. Like hanging out with Eugene showed me, I thought I want to be so alien, but I don't. I love him so much, and I love his life theme and that we're friends. But I love being me and like really enjoying where we are and enjoying every single frame of like the human experience and this big buffet what we can do now, and like the more you raise your frequency, different things you do, and what you used to do you're not excited anymore. So I really love going in the ocean daily, being nice and social to other humans and co-regulate and ask them how they're feeling and like lay in the love and see everyone as equals, and I can learn from everyone, and like connecting with Afro, just like we're on the scooter, we're going to the beach. It's like, this is priceless.
There's a couple of things I wanted to say from when you were talking earlier. You were asking about like why I felt like it didn't work out in past relationships. And I think also part of it was that I had this belief that because of the way I was raised, I had this belief that my partner and I, our emotional reality, we had to keep in private. So on the surface, everything always looked great and perfect. But inside our dynamic, a lot of times we were drowning, and we didn't create the community and the support network to ask for help. And I think this is so important that you have people in your life outside. Like, we're not meant to have relationships in silos, like where it's like you're just alone with your partner. We're meant to have relationships in community, supported by the community. And there's so many people that I have in my life that are like my soul family that love you and support you. And some of them have never met you. My godparents have still never met you in real life, but they fully support our relationship. And so that means that I can call them and be really upset about you and like tell them things that I don't like about you or whatever is going on. And they will co-regulate with me, where they're like, I get it. I'm here for you. What do you need? And also like, I'm so proud that you and Ferdi are moving through this together. Like, we believe in you guys. And I think for people who are listening, it's really important that we have this. It's that we have these outside people. And this is something that I felt was imbalanced in our dynamic, is I have this support network, like where I'm like, I can just pick up the phone and call someone in my support network and talk to them at any moment. And I feel that you could have more of these people in your life. And I think you also just didn't know that you needed that, or that was possible, or that we can be real with people on that level. And I think it's nice that Eugene came and we were able to, because you brought him into our life. Like, he came from your network. And I think that that's nice that we're starting to have people from your life that is helping you and co-regulating with you outside of me, because I don't feel that either of us, like, we're not meant to give each other all the downloads all the time. Like, we're meant to also have other people that we can resonate with and bounce things off of.
Carl, come to the island. I want to like share so many woke downloads. Yeah, I feel it a lot, and I'm calling them in, and I see them coming, and like, as you say, creating the new earth one by one. Like, I'm so excited for some special souls to come on the island and really invest in each other, and having more people where we have each other's back.
Yeah,
so,
and one thing Eugene brought up that I thought was really interesting, he was like, you and Ferdi have such special energy that, like, from an energetic perspective, is very tasty to other people. So when they're around us, they're like, this is yummy. It's like, I really like being in this energy. And he's like, it's actually not good for your growth, and actually kind of selfish is a weird word, but like, we're meant to become this foundation together and then also share our energy with other people. And like, that doesn't necessarily mean romantic. It can be also through friendship and community and stuff. And it also could be romantic, but the point of it is to go out and share our energy. And through doing that, we're building the new earth, and we're also growing and learning and bringing back all these learnings back into this foundation of our relationship. And then we keep growing and evolving. Because if we just stayed in our silo, which I've done in the past with past partners, where I literally stopped hanging out with my friends, and then my ex-boyfriend and I would just hang out all the time, every single day, you stop growing after a while because there's no outside input anymore.
And you can feel how you miss like spreading your energy to other people. Like I can so feel when we're doing that, I'm like, yeah, this is like, and then we come back together and we talk about like the flow state retreat, you know. This is so wow, like this is where it's at. So, and it comes back to attachment, you know, like letting go of the attachment and being good within yourself. And then because you're excited to go there and meet other people, and then because you're like so excited to come back to each other, and then like also doing it together, that we're like together hosting something, and then you're there and I'm there, and then like my favorite thing is then at the end of the day coming together and like talking about it.
Yeah, because most of us, we grew up in an environment where we didn't have a secure attachment to our parents or caregivers. So like we literally didn't have a secure emotional reality where like we could just count on things being good at home. And a child needs this. They need this secure emotional reality that mom and dad or whoever is there loves them, and they're okay to go out and like make friends and grow in the world, and then come home knowing that that support network will always be there. So most of us didn't have this. Like I'm so grateful that I had it in my mom, because she really showed me. I've been really thinking about my mom a lot the last couple of days when I was going off by myself in solitude. And I'm so grateful that she showed me from an embodiment level what it's like to really love someone. Like she really loved us so much. And she was that secure attachment for me growing up. And then my dad was like the opposite. He was like a narcissist and angry and abusive and everything. So it's like I have both of them in me, or like inside of me, and I know what both feels like. And this is why we all go out in the world and we strive to create this secure attachment. And I feel like a lot of people are waking up to the idea that like monogamy isn't necessarily the end all be all, but they just want the secure attachment so much that a lot of them settle because they're like, at least I feel safe here. At least I have this person that I can count on. But the next level of that is being good in yourself, being good with your partner, and then being open to whatever the universe is bringing in synchronistically into your life.
Yeah, the physical mind loves, I want to feel secure and safe. And but if like I had a lot of talks with my physical self the last days, it's my physical mind. And like now it's so sinking in that my physical mind, ego understands it, and my higher self doesn't always need to explain it. It's like, yeah, because it makes all the sense. If you like think it through, just use logic, it makes all the sense. Like if you squeeze something, it's gonna smash. Like it's, and then it's not. It's like when people are in an attached love, the love becomes so boring. And then, like one person I had at the meetup, this conversation, they had just even the conversation about opening the relationship, and her partner was like for the first time open, and she said we made love 3 times because I was so into him. Yeah, like of course, you know. It's like get the paradox of the universe, and like it all comes back to self-love, being good in yourself, and then everything is good on the outside because everything reflects that. Baby, should we take a nap?
Yeah.
I got really tired.
Yeah, I'm also.
This was really
tired.
nice, this podcast.
Yeah.
Let's just do more podcasts.
Okay.
I know we cannot do like every Monday we're gonna do a podcast together, but
Your physical mind wants that.
yeah. But I'm excited to just do more podcasts about. And it feels like so chill because like we really didn't know what we talked about. We just hung out, and it's really nice. Like I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. I'm also really tired.
Yeah, let's take a nap, baby. Let's do it like Afro.
Afro's napping away.
Yeah, I just want to say I love our life so much, and I encourage everyone listening, like, you can step in your power too, and only you can do it. And like if you do it more and more, like reality becomes so dreamlike, so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, last night, so like, you know, Eugene came, and then the day he left, we had a nice vibey day together, flowing, just doing errands and stuff. And then I went over to the other side by myself. And so yesterday was the first time you came over, like since, like we had this big thing with Eugene, worked through a bunch of stuff. And then I went away. And then when you came yesterday, our connection for me felt so buzzy that like in a good way, that I was like feeling like I was high on psychedelics. I was like, woo. And we just kept talking even though I was so tired. And I've been going to bed like really early, like 9 or earlier. And last night we went to bed at like midnight or later. And when I laid down and closed my eyes, I literally saw like DMT shapes. Like it was like, woo, woo. Like, you know, when you see like on the Instagram where you see like the person's face and it's like changing and it's like this DMT illustration. That's how I saw it in my head. And I was like, okay, ground, Brittnee, ground. Because I feel that that's how our whole reality can be. This is how, you know, we're raising our vibration, and we can do it soberly, and we can do it like through enjoying relationships with each other and enjoying love and all this stuff. And it's so beautiful.
We are the most strongest psychedelic to each other.
Yeah.
And this trip, like this drug is the nicest drug, and you can do it in a destructive way, which I see where it can go, and we can do it in this aligned way where it's the most beautiful way. And now I really know that we both know how to do it in an aligned way, and I want you to feel like safe and secure in it, to just like follow it and don't need to host me all the time, that I'm like, whoa, no, I want to be this grounded mountain force that is like always there for you can count on. And like I said in my German podcast, I'm gonna take a break of psychedelics. Like I have no calling to do them anytime soon, because I can access that now all in a sober way, and I want to be so grounded, because like, yeah, we, like one part of me, I told it yesterday, I would love to have like these, you know, we had these amazing LSD and mushroom trips with other people, and I want to have that with you. And I mean, we had it on microdoses, but it's like, Ferdi, we are each other's strongest psychedelic. Like this is already the most amazing trip. Like what do you want more? Like if you overeat on the most delicious cake, you're feeling sick. So enjoy it. Just enjoy it, Ferdi.
Yeah, I mean, if we had like smoked weed or something last night, it would have been too much for
It
me.
would be way too much. Like me yesterday evening, I could so feel it. Like, whoa, I'm so tripping, but in this healthy way, I'm feeling so good. And then my dreams, like, don't let me get started. I talked to your higher self for hours, and she was like really explaining everything for me. And we were just like, I was like, hey, do I take too much of your time? And I was also like, could feel you sleeping next to me. Like, is this, because I don't want to like drain you energetically anymore. But she was like, no, like, you know, here in spirit, I have endless time for you. Baby.
It's beautiful.
All right. Should I roll a little Bashar nugget? Wake up! Yeah, Bashar does the wake up job now. We just invite you into our life, and yeah, like this is, I don't want to be a little Bashar boy anymore. I want to be Ferdi. I want to be my full power and speak about my experience. And here I am, living my best life. Thanks. Check out Brittnee. Check out Brittnee's podcast. It's amazing. Check out the latest episode. Wow. Follow us on Instagram. Our Insta stories are so nice. Catch the vibe. Catch it. Thanks for listening. Until next time. I really like the permission slip of smoking DMT. My trips are so unlike what I hear from other people. I really shift into other realities, and there are many ETs showing me things. I really go through portals. Do you have any other permission slips how I can open portals to other realities besides smoking DMT?
Again, the idea is what you're attracted to is what works for you. But we always suggest that you strongly connect to nature, meditate in nature, and as Willa has suggested, the idea of meditating with your back to a tree near a running brook or stream or pond or lake of water, and opening up, imagining your consciousness going down into the ground, connecting to the mycelial network that connects all the trees in a forest, and connecting and opening up and inviting the idea of nature spirits to communicate with you can be of great assistance.
Thank you. I got a bit afraid of smoking DMT because I went so far in other realities, and sometimes I got afraid that I wouldn't come back. Is this fear unnecessary? Do I always come back to this reality?
You will always be given a choice, but the idea is, remember that the teachers of the earth are not always necessary for you to achieve the same altered state. So you don't always have to literally use physical DMT in order to recreate that altered state for yourself. But no matter which way you do it, you may arrive at a point where you will meet certain entities who will give you the choice of moving on or going back. So you never have to be afraid. You will always be aware of what your choices are.
And where I make the choices, is this my physical self, like the Ferdi that is speaking now? Like I am embodied so much my higher self already.
What I'm telling you,
now
it doesn't matter from what level you make the decision. The decision will be made for all levels that are concerned.
thank you.